Hi guys,
Hello.
and it is Empress Jack Rabbit,
Tory Boo 151.
and it's Tuesday, so it must be Table Talk.
Table Talk.
Table Talk. Hi guys, how are you? It's been a week since we did Table Talk. Missed you guys. Excuse me. We will be doing a review on Catfish for tomorrow, of course, and I have a very interesting reading on what caused the breakup of Future and Sierra. And rumor has it that Sierra is dating, what's the name? Wilson.
Um, yes.
Russell Wilson.
Yep.
The football player for the Seattle Seahawks. They're in the Super Bowl. They didn't win this year because they messed up play, but they won last year. But they're a great team. Nice guy. Pretty nice looking, got money. I told you it won't be long. She'll be picked up by somebody and it'll be better for her and it'll be a stable relationship. I hope this is the one. Anyways, what do we have on our table talk agenda today?
Today we have lots of stuff. We got a couple celebrity stuff and of course our regular news stuff that we talk about. And we have a film at the end to talk about.
Okay.
All right, we'll start with a woman. We found out that she was at a movie theater watching a movie, and some kids were being rowdy behind her, and she shushed them or told them to be quiet, and they proceeded to jump her.
Yeah, she shushed them, and then they were cursing her out. She leaves out of the movie theater by herself, and they got some dudes and a couple other girls, and they jumped her and beat her tail down in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay, first and foremost, now this lady is not a little lady. She's a big, thick woman, stout, heavy, fat. I don't know, however way you want to say it. But my thoughts are this. If you know that you can't back up your shush with an ass whooping, it's probably best for you to get up and move. Is that fair? Is that right? No, but the world doesn't always turn out to be fair and right. And sometimes you have to make an accommodation or a compromise that maybe you wouldn't have necessarily wanted to. That's my number one thing. Number two, you out in the parking lot getting your ass whooped. Where is everybody else?
That's what I'm saying.
Where is the other people that were in the movie theater? She went to go see Furious 7. Furious 7. So it was a crowd. It would have been a crowded movie theater, I would imagine. Where was everybody else? I'm talking about not her family. I'm talking about just people who went to the show.
Yeah.
Why didn't one of them call 911? Why didn't one of them get in and break up the fight? Primarily because people are scared of teenagers. But at the end of the day, that's all they are, is babies in big bodies. And then lastly, she's supposed to fight like her life depended on.
Really?
She should have took her purse by the straps and swung that sucker around, knocking motherfuckers down.
Really?
Kicking behind, getting her back up against the wall so nobody could be jumping back there. And just kick, scream, holler, yell, but don't go down. Don't go down.
You ain't getting back up.
So she had a black eye and some bumps and bruises and things like that. I definitely think, of course, obviously it was wrong and it was uncalled for. And she paid her $9 or however much to get into that show. Same thing as they did.
Right.
And that means that she went in with the expectation that don't talk all through the movie, don't be getting loud. And you know how kids do, they get to talking, it ain't even about the movie.
Nope. It's over disrespectful. It's way disrespectful.
Right.
I just feel like if you're gonna go to a movie, go to watch. If you know you're gonna be bored in a movie, don't waste your money and then waste everybody else's time too.
Right, and be so disrespectful. That's the problem. Disrespect. What's our next story? Moving on for this.
All right. Okay, so we've been hearing about the case of Suge Knight and him running over some people.
Yeah, he ran over two people. One he hit and knocked down, and the other one he killed. The one that he hit and knocked down now is coming up on the witness stand talking about he not going to snitch. He not testifying. And not only that, but going to take the blame, talking about it's really his fault because he got to fighting with Suge Knight and put the blame on him. Okay, what's wrong with this picture? Okay, if I fight you true enough, right, even if I started,
right,
you ain't supposed to run me over.
No.
Or kill the next dude who didn't have nothing to do with it.
Mm-mm.
And even if the guy said he started the fight and you hit him and you knocked him down, what you did, that didn't have nothing to do with the guy that he killed.
Nope.
So even if you up there saying you're not going to snitch, that's not going to get Suge Knight off.
No.
This dude either got paid or threatened.
That's what I think. Either paid or threatened, and now he's scared. And he's doing what he got to do. Ain't no snitch, ain't no snitch, you know, all that.
And this dude ain't no young cat either. You know, he's 40s for sure. At that age, who is talking about snitching? I'm telling it all.
Right.
Shit. I'm telling everything. Who was there, when, what happened, what I saw, what they look like, the whole 9 yards. Right. If somebody run me over. I don't care if they from the block or I don't know them at all. I'm telling everything. So this now they had Suge Knight's bail up to $25 million. Now they lowered his bail to $2 million. Yeah. I don't know if he gonna get out or not. I don't know where he gonna get $2 million from.
That's what I'm saying. I don't get that.
Right. I don't know how that's gonna go. But he keep falling out. He had to go. That same day that dude got on the stand and said he wasn't snitching, he fell out again. Right. So he's supposed to be blind and diabetic and seizure prone and fainting and POP hold it down. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he has committed a lot of crimes over the years. And I think, just my own opinion, he was part of having Tupac getting shot. How y'all gonna be in the same car? You take one little bullet, graze, and this nigga killed. Right. So that's my feeling. So with Tupac wanting to end up leaving death row, which he did. Right. So I say, get a man what he deserved. Do like y'all did OJ. OJ got off with the murder, but then he went in there and trying to steal his own stuff in Vegas, and y'all locked him up for 30 years. Do that. Right. And keep folks out of trouble. Right.
So we're hearing that Bobby Brown said that Bobbi Kristina is out the coma.
What?
She's so fine, she's okay and everything. But come to find out that's not the case. He's been telling stories, and so as his family members and the Houstons were the ones that said that she's still in a coma, she's still on a ventilator. They don't know what's the story on her health condition.
So ultimately, we still don't know what to believe or what to think. I don't know why Bobby would say that. They say he ain't drinking or drugging or nothing like that. I don't know if he meant she was dead and watching over him from heaven. But if you don't want anybody talking about her current condition in terms of being bad, then don't talk about it being good. Don't talk about it at all.
That's what I feel like. Don't talk about it at all. Don't put out no fake stories or none of that.
Because ultimately you leave us confused. And of course now many of us don't even care. It's been 3 months since you've been in a coma. Right. I can't imagine other than a TV Lifetime movie where she could wake up and be back to new. No. I don't know. So I don't know.
I don't
know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, sadly, last week we heard Johnny Kemp die, just got paid.
Yeah. Oh, that used to be my song. They just got paid Friday night. Yep. Just got paid. Yeah. But I used to pump that going to work, have my little windows down and everything on my little payday. Yeah, they found him floating he went to Montego Bay and he was floating upside, floating on his face in the water and he was dead. Right now, they don't have any reason to say why. He's 55 years old. He could have had a heart condition and he could have been on drugs. I don't know. I really don't know. We haven't heard anything yet. It takes a couple of weeks for them to come back with drug testing him. Yeah. By the way, just an FYI, this actor Ben Carson also died, 64. And if you don't know who that was, he was the brother on Good Times who was married to Thelma and played her husband in the show. And he died as well. And they don't have he died on the 6th or the 9th of April, but they don't have any cause as to why he died. The hospital hasn't released anything. I don't know if they will or won't, but, God rest both their souls. And my prayers go to the families involved.
Definitely. So Hillary Clinton wants to run for president again for this term.
And that's cool. The thing is now we had a black man. Now we should will have a woman and all of that. And I don't have no problem with that she want to run if she can do something with this country, because I personally feel, and I'm a Democrat, that I'm really kind of more independent, I think, nowadays. But I don't know what she can do that's going to be so much greater or so much grander. However, I look at it historically, and if you're into history like I am, look it up. What usually will happen or has happened is that a Democrat will get 2 terms and then it goes to Republican. So if history follows course in its timeline, it will be a Republican who wins the White House. And perhaps she shouldn't have jumped up and put her hat in the ring, but waited till maybe the next election. I don't know. We can't be blindly excited. I'm a woman. Yes, I got to have a woman in office. Or, I'm black. Yes, I got to be black. Because Obama taught us that don't judge a book by a cover. He was black. We expected a lot of things to happen in the black community that were positive and money's put to. And it wasn't that he couldn't do it. He had a Congress that was a majority Republican Congress who blocked him every way he could, just like they did Bill Clinton. So we do have Obamacare for those who participate in there. It's good and it's bad. Everybody's covered, but at the same time, you have to pay that expense, and there's also a fine on your taxes if you don't pay it. So it's good, it's bad. The wealthy are still paying less taxes. That 1%, they're paying in the 12 to 14% taxes. Right. Are you serious? On $1 billion? That's chump change. Whereas a common man working a job making $10, $20, $30 an hour is paying 17 to 20 or 25%. Right. So there's a lot of things that haven't changed at all. Obama has helped got the troops out of the Middle East, but now they're slowly going back in because of ISIS. So I can't say whether he was all successful or he was all terrible. It was a very mixed bag of stuff.
It was, and I probably believe if Hillary is elected, let's just say, it'll probably be the same way, because I was looking on Facebook and somebody had a poll up there on whether or not they wanted Hillary. There was a lot more no's than there were yeses, and the main point was we already had one Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky scandal. Why do we want another Clinton in office again? Right,
which that's going to be something that the Republicans really use against her. She had nothing to do with that, obviously, but that's going to be used against her. Some financial things issues they were embroiled in Arkansas, that's going to come back up. Her emailing people is going to come back up. I've heard something where people were saying she was lesbian and she had a list of lesbian women that she was emailing. All of this is rumor and hearsay, but that's all it takes, because you can trust to believe that if that's out there, it's going to be at least one person going to believe it. Yeah. So I wish her luck if that's what she wants to do. I'm not going to put my pony in the horse. I'm going to wait and see how it goes to decide where my vote will go. Right. And everyone should vote. A lot of people say, my vote don't mean anything. Here's the rub that people don't seem to understand. There's 2 types of vote, and it's the popular and the electoral. We, general John Q. Public, we create the popular vote. The electoral votes, those will go to whoever the people say is the most popular. And that's how we are electing a president, with those electoral votes. The electoral voters do what you want them to do. But if you don't get out there and vote, or if you allow Tea Party, let's say, to dictate by all Tea Partiers voting and saying this person is popular, what else can they do? Right. They're only going to do what you want them to do, and they only know through your vote. So go out and vote. You do count. You do. Yep. Bring me some water, Neil.
We here in Atlanta, 8 out of the 10 teachers that were in the cheating incident are charged.
How do you feel about that?
Right now, I feel like I'm mixed because I feel like it's not fair that the punishment doesn't go with the crime, and I feel like they putting too much pressure on the teachers. At the same time, I understand that it's wrong to cheat, but like I said, the punishment doesn't go with the crime.
I have to, as an educator myself, I have to support that. Um, First of all, the standardized tests need to go. Okay, it used to be No Child Left Behind, which was from the Bush administration. Now they've created this with the Obama administration, actually, Common Core, where every school district is supposed to be a part of it and working out of this common, same core of what kids can learn. But it's a big difference between where kids actually are today and what Common Core expects them to do. It is
Right.
a
It's a big
vast
gap.
chasm of difference between the two that whoever in these white ivory offices don't seem to recognize. Thank you. I think that the as well the punishment doesn't fit the crime. I've been in schools where there is a big push to get those standardized test scores up,
Right.
and you actually lose focus of your class, or not focus, but creativity, because you're so entrenched in what administration wants you to do to make sure these kids pass the test or show growth and improvement
Yeah.
rather than letting them do it naturally. Um, I think it's a harsh punishment. I think losing their teaching license in Atlanta and dismissing them from the job, quite frankly, would have been enough.
Right.
Don't cut off their livelihood, and then don't
Exactly.
put them up behind bars. Two of them took a plea deal where I think they've got like one's going to be in prison at home and one's got a few months. The rest of them
Yeah.
just knew a jury was not going to send them to prison.
Right.
Prison, or the judge wasn't going to be so harsh, but he was very harsh.
Yeah. Definitely.
Trying to make a point, he missed a point. So
Yeah. It happens often.
sorry that you guys had to go through that. I know the pain and the pressure. Trust me, I do.
Yeah.
But don't
It's not
cheat.
fun. So, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar undergoes quadruple bypass surgery, having heart issues.
Yeah, you know what? That's surprising because for years now, for years, since he went out to the Lakers. He used to be at the Bucks, my
Hmm.
team. He has really been in yoga and healthy eating and things like that. So I don't know. That's just weird to me. It almost looks as though those things are genetically inclined. That you could do all the right things and you could still have those type of heart issues. But I highly stress forgiveness,
Hmm.
releasing the past. Please release it, let it go. Forgive, not that person, not for them, but for you, so you can be free to get on with your life and put that mess off your mind and really love and accept people the way they are. This is a real mind, body, spirit connection in our life. And it's interesting because Camille was reading a story, an essay, and it was talking about don't eat that and foods that were causing us to have problems. And they were talking about how there was this mind health connection and how these foods are bad for you. But yet, they even mentioned in the article what I say, the foods that are good for you, the vegetables, the fruits, the leaner cuts of meat and things like that are very expensive. But they say, but it's worth the cost. Okay, it's expensive and it might be well worth the cost. But if I don't have the money to pay for that, then it's not worth the cost. If I got $200, let's say, to spend for food,
Hmm.
then that's all I have. I can't afford to get all this and that and the other. It's easy for me to get some frozen chicken nuggets
Yeah.
or some hamburger and hamburger helper and some chips or whatever than it is to try to eat things that, nutritionists say is healthy.
Hmm.
You don't have the money for it. Why doesn't Obama look into that?
Right.
Put those things that are healthy and nutritious for us at a lower price and put the convenient stuff at a higher price.
Hmm.
Even Michelle Obama was into this whole campaign of kids eating healthier in the school lunch programs, but didn't do a goddamn thing in real life because Most kids eat lunch at school free anyways.
Exactly.
And most of those are going to be something decent to eat. Anyways, we can go on a whole rant on that, but I won't.
Really. So we broke down and watched the movie Spike Lee film Bamboozled.
Yeah, you know what? That came out in 2000. I sure remember when it came out, and I was hearing about it, reading about it, and I said, let me check it out. And what it's about is this executive at a startup television network whose shows are all failures, and everything that he writes are Cosby-esque type shows, and they wanted something more urban. And he ends up, he can't quit because it's written in his contract. If he quits, he'll be fined. So he wants to come up with a show so they can take the show, take it to the execs, and he can get fired. And he creates a minstrel show with Savion Glover tap dancing and Tommy Davidson doing ridiculous acts and jokes and stuff. And it turns out to be a big hit.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the movie in 2000. I watched the part of it. And when they started putting that blackface on Savion Glover and Tommy Davidson, I turned that mess off. I couldn't stomach it. And this time I went through my own pains and backlash and feelings of all of that. And I really got the message of how blacks and what they had to endure in Hollywood, not just in the streets or regular jobs, but in Hollywood with this stereotype and this racism to be able to work. And at that time, a lot of famous people, Butterfly McQueen, Hattie McDaniel, Bill Bojangle Robinson, Mantan Moreland, so many of them were being like protested against civil rights movements of that time was really against them. And now in retrospect, when you look at it, they did not knock the door down. They had to beat the door down so you could have the Denzel Washington, Samuel L. Jacksons, Anthony Andersons, Jesse Smollett's, Terrence Howard, Taraji, all of that. So they could walk through the door. Do they still experience racism and things there? Yes. But not to the extent that they did. They had to go through hell and high water. And many of these actors of that day were highly educated, well-read. The guy that played Stephen Fetchit, he was the first millionaire black actor. So they had to have one life off the screen and the other one on the screen. And all that minstrel clowning and cooning, that goes back even to slave days. And nobody seems to take a fucking moment to think, okay, these slaves clowning and cooning and yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and being called everything out their name, everything but child of God. I would much rather have gone through that had I been them than to endure the beating, the lynchings, the raping of my family members, or what have you. And they did what they had to do to survive. And if you don't see it like that, then you got a problem. So that's what I have to say on it. What do you have to say? I'm sorry, I monopolized this.
But I felt like that. I felt myself like getting upset seeing them put the blackface on. But after the movie, we had a whole conversation. I did understand it afterward because it is like that. You have to do what you have to do to survive, especially if you have a family. It's not just you. You have to do what you can to help support your family.
Yeah, it's a choice between, like I said to you, should I eat the food that I'm gonna get from this one day of being a person in Tarzan, or should I eat my dignity and pride tonight?
Right.
So let's get real. Let's get practical. Let's get honest. Let's keep it real. It was a great movie. Yeah. I highly recommend it. If you have never heard of it, it's Bamboozled. It's by Spike Lee. Mm-hmm. It's going to really touch a nerve in you watching it. It has a bit of a shocking ending to it. Yeah. It's going to push your mind and your boundaries. So if you into growing and learning, watch it. Mm-hmm. Hit us back. Let us know what you thought about it. Let us know if you've watched it before. Yeah. And what did it do to you, or what your thoughts and impressions are of this film. Right. It's close to being one of his best films. We happened to have to watch School Days right after that, and Of course, that's a great film. I've watched that umpteen times.
Right.
But that's the end of our show today. It was
Yeah.
great talking with you guys, and another great Tuesday. I don't care if it's 1 or 100 that comes to us. We're happy to have you.
Yep.
Comment,
Like,
subscribe.
and we'll see you next week.
See you next Tuesday.